Another hidden gem amidst the guests and nauticas of the Burlington, but this time with an extra kick of oil. Tidings to you there. As usual, I be Cloying Clouds, and as you can presume from the intro as well as the thumbnail, we have a bottle of Vulcan Feu. But this one is just a hidden surprise. This is an Extrait de Parfum versus the usual EDPs that I have seen amidst the online retail stores, as well as the occasional in-store bottles. I didn't even know this had an extract version, let alone one that you can find at Burlington. A little tidbit about this guy as usual. It was released this year and is a inspiration of God of Fire, and it's also marketed as a unisex fragrance as well as being a warm weather fragrance. Now, specifically, this is a warm weather fragrance that dives face first into that fruit smell. The primary puncher being mango, and some of the notes that we can expect, or all the notes that we can expect, are as follows: mango, ginger, lemon, rhubarb for your top notes. And for those heart notes, we have pink pepper, jasmine, praline, and violet. As for our base notes, we have ambergris, tonka bean, cedarwood, and moss. I do have an EDP decant of this, so I can do like a small comparison of the two for you right here. I will mention I have done one yesterday when I picked this bottle up because I was quite curious to see how the two differed as well as how they were similar. Now, I initially wore both of these on my wrist, as I mentioned a day prior, and I will say that the Extrait de Parfum, it lingered a wee bit longer with the mango scents, and the Eau de Parfum slowly faded into more of that like moss woody scent. I didn't get tons of praline or violet. I want to say there might have been a kiss of jasmine. I'm starting to get more used to that jasmine smell in some fragrances. I didn't get any pink pepper though, which is kind of unfortunate. You know me and my peppers. Pink, black, what have you, they're all good peppers in my opinion. Let's take a quick peek at our bottle before we dig any further into this, just to appreciate the aesthetics of it. You know, I'm not an expert in snakes, but I think that's some sort of viper. Maybe it's like a gaboon or something like that. And if I'm off the base, well, I probably should Google this and put it in the old post. But it is quite lovely. There's like little diamonds or something in the eyes. And you got your little scaling on your cap here. Very simple. A little bit of branding on the bottom. I know you can get the EDP for about $32. I'm not quite sure how much this would sell for online, but for 40 bucks, you know, why not give it a go and just see how it smells? Curiosity, I was meaning to pick this bottle up down the line, probably more towards the springtime, but when you're at Burlington, you seem to find a lot of these weird summer spring scents that just sit on the shelf for a wee bit, I guess, because people want to get more of those sweet vanilla woody scents that are more akin or accustomed to this time of year. It was quite warm this past week, so this was quite fitting to wear and test out, even if it was close to January. It was well over 80 degrees, so it was a perfect time to see how it handles, smells, scents, and all that wonderful jazz. Let's take a quick peek at our cap. As you can see, a nice snug little cap, just simple little plastic inside. Sounds a little grindy, just a wee bit. Non-magnetic, but quite snug. Not too much weight to it, not a lethal weapon or anything like that. As you can see here, once again, nothing too crazy. Easy little snap on, and easy little snap off. And there's your little sprayer right there. Nothing crazy about that, pretty standard. Now, as I mentioned, I do have this guy right here. A little decant I bought not too long ago of Vulcan Feu EDP. So we can do kind of a spray of both of them and talk about them in real time. Well, real time for me, not so much for you. Let's give this guy a little spray on my skin over here. And then give this guy, first let me give this guy a spray in the ear. A little atomizer. Not too shabby. Saw a little spray right there. And then now we'll spray on the other skin part here. There we go. Okay, as always, I'm just going to let it sit for just a moment to get some of that alcohol just fading away so the notes can speak in the front and not have to worry about getting through that. And we're back. Now, one of the first things I noticed between the two of them is that pronounced lemon scent. The Extrait de Parfum has a much stronger lemon scent initially than the EDP. This lasts much longer with that mango than the EDP. The extract seems to hold itself and linger much further on. The heart notes, I feel like the mango kind of does much of the carrying throughout its lifetime. Besides the cedar and wood and the moss, I don't get much of the tonka bean. The Extrait de Parfum also is just a wee bit more harsh on some of those like citrus fruit smells to them. It's not unbearable. The extract just has more highs to me than lows. The lemon, the mango, and then the fade into that cedar and moss. Of the EDP and extract, I would definitely say the extract is my go-to for these two. The lemon and the mango are much more pronounced, and when it does fade into its base notes, the moss and the cedarwood are also quite cushioned by that fruit scent. They don't overtake it, they complement it. On the same note, the ambergris is kind of a silhouette on the back end that is still being present in the sense, but it doesn't overtake what I think this is really about, which is the mango. To me, the mango is the star, and the rest of them, they're important, but they're the co-stars. They're helping lead the march of mango madness to those around. And I do love the smell of most things in the Anacardiaceae family, mango included, your pistachios and whatnot. I would rate this one about a 4.25 out of 5, and I'd rate the EDP about a 4. As for this, the projection's about average to me. It doesn't scream, nor does it sneak. I know it's a little hard to tell sometimes because when you're the one wearing it, but from what I can tell from the lingering sense around me, it seems to be about that middle plane. Now, the longevity, it does seem to last a wee bit. This seems to last much longer than this. I decided to put both these on before bed just to see if any one of them was still lingering after I woke up. This actually did. It was very faint, but it did still have a small little mango scent to it, and this one was completely dissipated. Now, the price is hard to compare if this is good or bad. Once again, this is $40. I believe these go for about 32 or so. If $40 is a decent price for the Extrait de Parfum, I would say go for it. I can't imagine there's only an $8 difference between the two of these. I can imagine this is probably more of like a $50 bottle or so. And if you can find this at Burlington for about 40 bucks and you like a mango fruit tropical type of scent to it, it has decent longevity. Projection seems to be pretty on point as well. And it's a nice bottle. The aesthetics of this is quite lovely as well. I don't know if I saw too much of the, or showed too much of the, packaging, but it's kind of nifty. Look at that. It's a nifty little packaging here. Yeah, I probably should mention too. Right. Where's it at? Also, for those that are curious, there is your batch number, which I'm not super familiar with batch numbers on French Avenue. I believe it's at RFWM 17033 blah blah blah. And this was produced not too long ago. And there's your expiration date. There's your little. Overall, if you like mango with a touch of wood, ambergris, and moss, I say go for it. This is a very solid fragrance. It seems to be relatively mass appealing. I feel like you can wear this anywhere and any time, honestly. Yeah, warm weather is primarily going to do it justice, but at the same time, you could wear this right now, and if it's 42 degrees, and still have a pretty good experience. Anyhow, anywho, and anyway, I always appreciate you stopping on by, and feel free to like if you like, and feel free to follow if you like. I don't mind, and I always do appreciate it. You have yourself a good day. Bye bye now.